All right, Nick, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We talked about this coaching staff and how great it is. It's not really anything flashy, everything's solid football moves. So, today, let's talk about some flash. Let's talk about some first round trade possibilities for the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is a really interesting potential move here. But before we get into that, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, talked about potential trades for the Dallas Cowboys in this upcoming draft. I think this is a really interesting move. Let's get into the article and we talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, is from over on Blogging with the Boys. It says, when we get on the clock at pick 12, there are plenty of intriguing prospects still on the board. Offensive playmakers Ashton Genty, Emeka Ibuka, and Luther Burden III are still available, as are talented defenders Benjamin Morrison and Michael Williams. But the Arizona Cardinals come calling and let us know they're interested in trading up for the 12th pick. While sticking and picking a player here is intriguing, there are enough prospects of interest still available that we know we'll still get a quality player if we move back 4 spots. So Arizona accepts a deal, sending their 16th and 78th pick to move up to the number 12 spot. So, long story short here, they have the Cowboys linked to trading with the Arizona Cardinals their first round number 12 overall pick to the Cardinals for their first round 16th pick and third round 78th overall pick. I think this is a really solid trade for the Cowboys if something like this was to pan out. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick, but before we get to you, Cowboys fan, in the comment section below, let us know. We're talking draft. It's close. It's close enough to talk about. I think it's, it's safe to say, not too far away now. Let us know, what are you thinking draft-wise for the Cowboys? Is there a player you like? Is there a position group that maybe you think they need to go attack? Let us know in the comment section below. What are you thinking about for the draft? Is there anything that tickles your fancy? Let us know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest trade proposal for the Cowboys?
Think it makes a lot of sense. And look, it happened last year essentially. Dallas traded back with the Detroit Lions. Lions moving up to 24, Dallas to 29. They picked Guyton, and with the additional draft capital they got BB, who's proven himself to be, honestly, at this point, a better player than Guyton. Although Guyton's potential, he's got sky high potential. It's just, can he develop into it? BB has proven himself to be, honestly, in my opinion here, a better center in one season than Tyler Biadasz was. So that looks like a great trade last year. So it makes sense to kind of duplicate that success, especially when you look at the needs of the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone's front and center. We all know it. Another wide receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb and running back. And moving from 12 to 16, you're not in a situation, I think, where you lose out on a top flight wide receiver or a top flight running back. I think it all depends if they're really in love with Gianti or if they've got a wide receiver, whether it's McMillan, whether it's Luther Burden, whether it's somebody else that they're really in love with that they think is a great fit. I think personally, trading back from 12 to 16, I think McMillan from Arizona will be there. You draft McMillan, you pair him with CeeDee Lamb. McMillan's a 6'5" guy. He's kind of a good complement. He's a big physical. He's more Terrell Owens than he is CeeDee Lamb as a receiver. Not saying McMillan's as good as T.O., but that's sort of stylistically. He's got a lot more length to him, right? He'd be one of the more, he'd be basically the best 50-50 ball winner since Michael Gallup, except McMillan puts Michael Gallup, even prime Gallup, to shame. That's how talented McMillan is. I think be a great pick here. And then you use the extra assets to kind of fill out maybe the interior defensive line. You go running back in the second round or something like that. Maybe you add you work on the offensive line, get some depth there. Maybe you get a running back in the third round, whatever it is, right? You use that extra capital like you used it with Cooper Beebe last year. And I think that's exactly what the Cowboys should do here. And look, when you have a solid coaching staff that they put together, we all know it's really good. We talked about that ad nauseum, and you've got some key veteran stars. That's the one thing. People sleep on the Cowboys a little bit, but the reality is at positions that really matter, they've got stars. Dak Prescott, not elite, I'll admit that, but he is no doubt a franchise quarterback. CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 receiver in the NFL, right? We look at Tyler Smith, he's a top 5 guard. If you look at defense, they've got 2 Pro Bowl corners. They've got one of the top 2 or 3 pass rushers, maybe the best, depending on your flavor, a pass rusher, and Micah Parsons, right? They've got stars. They got the best kicker in the game, right? They've got great returner, right? They have enough stars and big play guys to work around the entire roster, especially at the most important positions. Now it's about finding the right players. They don't need to go best player available. They need to get the guys to pair with the stars. They need a running back to pair in this offense. They need a wide receiver to go opposite CeeDee Lamb. And the fact that they need multiple guys, they need more depth on the interior defensive line, maybe more linebacker depth. Who knows? Overshown looks like a star. Hopefully he can come back healthy. But the reality is they've got a lot of holes, but nothing massive to fill in terms of they don't look at their wide receiver core, for example, and see we got nobody, right? They're not like the Patriots. They look at their wide receiver core and say, we need something opposite a Lamb. We need something to pair with Rico Dowdle or whatever it may be. And I think using the draft to trade back and get multiple draft picks is the perfect way to address this. They're kind of in a funky state. It's almost a soft rebuild. And anytime you're in any kind of rebuild, the best plan is to trade back, get more picks, and fill out your roster. I think it would be the perfect move for the Cowboys to make.
Yeah, Nick, I definitely would agree with you there on this one because if you look at the draft boards, you look at everywhere where people are ranked, this is the perfect draft for the Cowboys to trade back. Because you look, overall big board type of thinking here, there's so many corners, defensive line edge players, and O linemen that are in that top 100 that I think there's going to be a big run on players like that. And when it comes to wide receivers, there's a lot of great receivers in here, but I think they're going to be able to be seen in the later rounds. Talk about guys like McMillan, Burden, Emeka Egbuka, Isaiah Bond from Texas, and then even sneakier later round guys, Xavier Restrepo out of Miami, and then you even got Tez Johnson out of Oregon, another really talented wide receiver. So a ton of guys there. Then you talk about running back, even more. You've got obviously the big name Gianti out of Boise State, Hampton out of North Carolina. Both the guys out of Ohio State when you have Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Kid out of Tennessee, Sampson looks really good. Cam Scadabo's good. Kid out of Michigan looks good. Needless to say, there's a lot of talented running backs, a lot of talented wide receivers, but in front of them, there's a lot of other picks. So I think you trade back, you're going to have your pick still of who you want as far as wide receiver and running back goes. And even later in the second and third rounds, I think one of those, probably leaning more towards running back, you could pick up a guy like Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State in the third round and still be a really solid pickup for this team. I think trading back, really solid move by the Cowboys if they're able to do something like this. I think it would be very advisable because this draft lines up really well for the Cowboys' position of need. I think it would be an ideal position for them to be in.